You might as well send them the second from the last. Hey guys, this episode we're going to be focusing on independence. And the way I like to focus on independence is not by just asking the dog to be independent, but actually ask the dog to work against me. So do things that contradict what I'm doing. And we're going to try a bunch of different distractions. I'm going to do 3 distractions for each dog for now. Depending on how they do, we might do more. And then I'm going to do an independence drill as a relaxed search, where it's the standard independence exercise where I'm going to sit in the chair and let the dog work a big search without me. Because I'm such a passive handler, the chair drill is very easy for me. But if you have students or you're one of these people that is a very active handler, you want to follow the dog around and move too much, doing a lot of searches where you sit in the chair where you're tied to a spot is a really great thing. Okay, so it's going to start towards the end. When I do this exercise, I like to start in buckets, and I start from the end and work my way to the beginning. And the first round, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to blabber on. I'm going to throw in the word alert as many times as I can so I can desensitize them to that word before it means anything. Would you mind sharing this to Facebook? While we're doing that?
Where is it posted?
Patreon.
I'm going to get in there.
Search, alert, alert. Are you searching? Are you searching? Check more, check more, check more. Search, check more, alert, alert. Find another one, find another one. Check. Good boy, yeah. Good boy, yes. Good job. Amen. Okay, so round 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold food in my hand. I think this is something that's important to do at the food stage. I don't reward the dog from my hand at the food stage. But what I do want my dog to be able to do is ignore the food that's in my hand. That way, when I go on odor, I don't have the problem of the dog staring at me. He did really well with that last distraction. He checked in on me once. More to ask, what the heck are you doing talking so much? Because I am very quiet in general. So here's the food. I'm going to tell him search. And you can see he's not paying attention to the food in my hand at all. He missed the hide. That's okay. I don't care as long as he's ignoring the food. You can see I'm not going out of my way to keep the food from him. Yes! Good boy! Yeah! Good boy! Nicely done. Okay, the last one's going to be a threshold hide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to rush him past it. I'm going to move too quickly and see if I can't get him to pass it. So let's get ready. You ready? Search. Yep. He's a very fast dog, so this is a good exercise for him. Search.
You started thinking about bucket number 5.
Yeah. And that's one of the things you need to be looking at is when does he check into the bucket and check out of what I'm doing. If you have a fast dog, it's counterintuitive, but if you want to make them slower, you need to go faster. Search. Yes, good boy. You need to have good leash feel so that when he turns around to get it, I don't knock him off his feet. I don't jerk him. Okay? Very nice. Okay, we're going to do the same progression with Lumi. Great. Okay, first distraction is talking too much. Search, search, check more, alert, alert, check, check, find more, good boy, good girl. Yeah, nicely done. Okay, next is distract with food. So I'm letting her know I have food before I start, otherwise it's not a distraction. Search. Yeah, good dog. Good dog. And last one, I'm going to try to rush her. This is the one that Lumi is most familiar with, so I expect her to do well. It'll be interesting if she doesn't. Search. job. Very nice.
Good job.
I know you want to check the rest of the buckets. Okay.
Are you gonna reset your schedule?
No, I want to do this again. So there's 3 more distractions.
What buckets?
Let's do the last one, the second one, and the third from last. Okay. Now, there's no reason dogs at a very early stage can't do something like this. We usually save these kinds of proofing exercises for when dogs are much more experienced. There's no reason. This is Catfish's 4th lesson. I haven't done any other nose work outside of what you've seen on these live streams. I've only let the dog run around in fields and be a puppy. That's it. He's looked for in fields for birds, but not nose work. He saw the buckets today. He knew what his job is. Once he knows what his job is, you're no longer in the training phase. You're in the proofing phase. Okay? So I'm proofing him now. Go ahead, man. So the 3 distractions I'm going to do this time is I'm going to first keep tension on the line. The second thing I'm going to do is play with a toy, which he's very toy motivated. And the third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have Natalie distract him by calling him. Okay? This should be very interesting for him. I don't know how he's going to respond to leash pressure. Search. And I've worked a lot with him on not pulling on the leash.
Doesn't seem to have sunk in.
Yes, good boy. Good boy. So that's one I'm going to work on by itself as its own drill at some point because you only put very light pressure. Okay, round 2. You have to be coordinated for this one. Otherwise, you can run him off leash and you play with the ball, or you can have someone else bounce it. Search. Yeah, good dog. Very nice. He's very toy motivated. And I think a lot of people wait way too long to introduce their dogs to distractions like toys. They wait till the dog's working on NW2 and that they're going to have to be dealing with it in competition, so they introduce it. Why not now? I know toys are going to be a distraction for him, so why not work on it now?
You actually refocus fastest on toys, I think,
Yeah.
so far.
Absolutely. Eventually, I'll proof him against birds and nose work, but not at this stage. Okay, so now...
Call him from down here.
No, call him from the side.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm not going to stop him from going to her. She's not going to pet him. Move this way a little until you're in frame. Right there. Okay. Ready? Ready? Search! Yay! Good boy! That's a good boy. Good boy. Okay, so we're going to re-examine other people distracting him at a later stage. Right now, we're kind of getting a baseline, and the fact he goes and checks in and goes right back to work, I'm happy with that.
Do you want to do the same distractions as Lumi?
Yeah, unless you have another suggestion.
No, I still think you can be very distracted by me, but I guess we'll see. I want to reverse it though. The second one will be you. The third one will be you guys. Search. Good.
Yes, good. She's much more familiar with opposition reflex type training, so she knows when she's allowed to pull on leash and when she's not. That worked pretty well.
Go back to the second bucket.
And then call from the end. Yeah. I know. I know. You're a good girl.
Okay.
Ready? Go ahead.
Luke.
Yeah, that's a better setup for that drill, especially when they're starting out. And lastly, it's going to be towards the end, and I'm going to bounce the ball. Lumi's not very toy motivated, but she is movement oriented. She's very prey driven, so we'll see if that distracts her at all. Ready? Search. Yes, good dog. Very nice. Good dog. Yeah, good dog. Nicely done. Okay, let's set up a little search area now.
So you're not going to do cherry color?
That is for cherry color. Yeah, I'm not going to do the circle of
Okay.
hooks. I'm just going to do search area.
Okay.
So while Natalie sets up, to me, that's what independence is about, is the dog being independent from the handler, which means they have to work against you sometimes, not just away from you, but actually resisting your influence. If the dog can ignore you when you're trying to distract them, then the dog can move away from you when you're not trying to distract them. That's the basic theory. Now I'm going to allow them to work away from me. I'm just going to sit in a chair, have a big search, have the odors fairly far away from me. And of course, by odor, I mean food. Probably good enough. Okay, so take a look at where I'm going to put these hides. So I'm going to put one hide in the stirrup of the saddle. This should have a lot of really interesting scents in it. Okay. I'm going to put one hide in the cup holder of the little table. The cup holder is netting, so it should pass through fairly well, and the dog will have to figure out to come to the other side. And lastly, I'm going to put one just right here on the ground. Okay? I'm going to be sitting probably off camera. You won't be able to see me, but just know that I'm sitting in a chair doing nothing. Let me try to move a chair to see if I can sit out of the way, but yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll be sitting right here, and you should still be able to see everything. Perfect. Now, I'm not going to let him go and then sit down. I'm going to sit down and then say, search. I want to make sure that even the start of the search isn't propelled by me. It's the dog propelling themselves. I love watching that head whip and all the natural signs the dog's in odor. Good dog, very nice. I'm still going to praise, even though I'm not going to run up and pat him or anything like that. Another thing worth saying about independence is that what the dog offers me here in the garage where they're familiar is not relevant compared to what the dog offers me in a new environment. That's true independence, and eventually we'll test this in new environments. But I do want the dog to know at an early stage that, good dog, that where I'm standing is not relevant. So I don't need to be standing over there for there to be a hide over there. I could be sitting over here, and there could be hides anywhere in the room. A lot of times handlers accidentally hide from, or handle from hide to hide. So the dog learns that the hides are always relative to the handler. They're a certain distance, a certain direction from the handler. That's a very bad habit to get into. This can be a very frustrating exercise for handlers that micromanage because their dog won't be able to do it. They'll just sit there staring at the handler, unable to move out. Now it is interesting that the first hide he caught, he still hasn't found. He went and found the other ones first. I was just talking to a class about this, that this is why I don't like doing multiple odor searches, is it teaches the dog to catalog. He learned right now, oh, leave a hard problem, find easy problems, then come back. So what that means is we should be doing more single hide searches so that he doesn't leave problems and look for easier ones. He finishes the problem he's on.
Especially setting complex single hide searches.
Yeah, absolutely. Good boy.
Boy. Don't eat the mesh.
He might try to eat it from the other end. We'll see. There, he's pushing it through, which is, I think. I might go help him. Good boy. I'm going to help him just so he doesn't chew the mesh off of it. But he might figure it out now. Yay, good boy. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. Thank you. Search.
You can really see her just life experience level.
Yeah, that's the age of the dog, exactly. Yeah. Good dog. I'm going to let her build some of this drive to the odor. Now, she's a Spitz breed. Wow, did you see that? I don't think that was an accident. She knocked it out intentionally.
Yeah.
That's a Spitz breed thing. They're problem solvers. She figured out how to get that out on her own. If I don't think the dog's going to damage the environment or hurt themselves, I let them work it out. If I think they're going to damage the environment or hurt themselves, then I intervene. Good dog. I'm not worried about the dog scaring themselves. Scaring is fine as long as they don't hurt themselves or hurt the environment. Now, one of the reasons I like doing this live is that you know it's unedited. I didn't string together the best searches of, if I do 100 searches in a row, like with my edited videos. I'm definitely trying to put together the best compilation of videos, which is good for some things. But sometimes you need to see what does real training look like with no edits. And this is what it looks like. Now, our dogs are doing pretty well today, but they haven't always. So I'm sure you'll see some of the issues we have when they happen. Good dog.
She had interestingly more trouble with that one than Catfish
Yeah.
did. But
She
the
did.
other two she found very simple.
Yeah, she did. Okay, so that live stream's just coming up to about 19 minutes, about 20 minutes actually. That's a good lesson for me. I don't need to do any more than that. 10 minutes per dog basically. really increased their independence, got to see what kind of distractions they could handle, see what distractions they couldn't handle as much. We're going to be building on that more. In terms of checking things off my list, this is all I can go on odor. I can go on odor. Even like when I was talking a lot to Catfish, he checked in with me, he went back. I can go on odor on that. I'm not going to go on odor because I have some things to check off my checklist still. So for example, I want the dogs to work in a potty area. Okay, I want him to, he's coming into his age, he's going through adolescence, he's intact. I want to know that he can work a potty area without marking. He doesn't mark yet, so I'm pretty happy about that, but I don't want to put him on odor and then have to fight with him over marking trees. I want to do that at the food stage. But yeah, that's a typical training session for what I do with my dogs. It's short, it's goal-oriented. We meet our goal, we move on, or we don't meet our goal. We take note of that and plan for the future. So hope you enjoyed that. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you hopefully tonight at NAMA.